Hello students, let us discuss expressions in this video lecture. First, what are expressions? Expressions are combinations of operands and operators. They may be arithmetic expressions, logical expressions, or relational expressions. First, what are constants? Constants are nothing but the values that we could assign to the various variable data types. When you declare variables, you can assign values. Depending upon the type of the variable, we can assign a certain range of values. For integers, we can assign all the integer values. Similarly, for float, we can assign all the decimal numbers. So that is what is basically constants. It is the literals or the values which we can assign to the variables. It is classified under the character constants, integer constants, and floating point constants. Character constants are all the character alphabets A to Z, and they are generally expressed in single quotes. And similarly, integer constants are all the numbers without any decimal points. And floating point constants are the decimal numbers, but it is having a range. So the decimal numbers are grouped under two categories in C and C++: float and double. The difference between float and double is the amount of memory. So double is having more than twice the memory size of float. So whatever the allocation of memory for float, that has been doubled under the double data type. So when you want to express large numbers, then we may go for declaration of the double data type. And the last constant type is a string. So string don't have a precise definition. Anything that is written within double quotes is technically a valid string. So even if you write a number within double quotes, it is going to be treated as a string only. So for example, here we can see that a string is provided within double quotes. So these are the various constants we could manipulate in our programs. Besides the usual constants, there is also something called the backlash character constants. These are constants which cannot be typed through the keyboard. So normally what we could type, like the numbers, special characters, alphabets, they are all represented under different categories. But there are some characters which are not part of the keyboard. So those are provided under the backslash. For example, /n represents a new line character. So whenever we want to restart the printing from the next line, then we can insert a /n into the printf statement. Similarly, /r creates a carriage return. So in this way, we have some backslash character constants which can be included into the printfs. Okay, next we have the operators. So operators, there are a wide range of operators available under C++. Assignment operators are the simplest operators. So whenever we want to write an expression, there is something in the left hand and there is something in the right hand, and that is connected with the help of the assignment operator, and that is the execution is always right to left. So what is written in the right hand side gets copied into the left. So which means that you can't write any expression as phi equal to a. You should always have an variable in the left hand, but you can have anything in the right hand. So in the right hand, it can be a equal to 5, a equal to c plus b, or simply a equal to 0. So what is in the right is assigned to the left hand variable. If it is a constant, then it is immediately assigned, whereas if it is an expression, then the expression is evaluated and the result is assigned to the variable. That is the usage of assignment operator. And when you talk about assignment operators, it also involves the type conversions. Sometimes we write expressions where the data types involved in the expression are not exactly same, and sometimes the left hand data type is not same with the right hand data type. These two are two different situations. One is in the right hand side there is an expression where we have mixed the data types. That is one thing. In the second case, there is some variable in the left side and there is some value in the right side, and they don't match. Their data types don't match. They are different. So how this will be dealt with by the compiler? Number one, will it throw an error message? as far as C++, that's not going to be considered as error messages. They are not going to throw any error message. So what it will do instead is that it will somehow translate the right hand value into the data type pertaining to the left side. So that is what we refer as type conversion or automatic type conversion. And similarly, in an expression, when you write a plus b, and when a and b are not of the same data type, that also is going to result in a type conversion. So type conversions, there is a rule followed by the compiler. Accordingly, it will determine which value should become which data type. I will show you the list based on which the type conversions take place. So take this example, int x character float. In the first line, character is assigned with the value of integer. So it needs some type conversion because they are not of the same data type. And in this case, the type conversion will be integer value will be converted into character. See, and one more point I need to tell you is that normally type conversion takes place based on priority or precedence. Like whenever there is an int with the float, the int is always converted to float. But that is not true in an assignment operator, because in the left side, whatever in the right hand side, it has to be mandatorily converted into the left side. So here it won't look at any priority or precedence. It will blindly convert the right data type into the data type of the left. So that you just have to remember carefully. So here it is integer and this is character. This is actually the larger data type, but still, as I told you, in this case there is no precedence or priority considered. It's just going to apply the type conversion. So right becomes data type of the left. So integer will be converted into character. But there is a problem here. Integer's memory size is larger than the memory size of character. So you can't always properly convert the number into character. So some numbers won't fit into character. In that case, it will lead to a wrong result. So you won't exactly find the correct value in the character variable. It will be incorrectly done. That is because 16 bits are used for integer, whereas only 8 bits are assigned to character. So it will truncate the lower order 8 bits and it will extract only the higher order 8 bits, and that value alone will be assigned to character. But if the number is a small number that is stored inside the integer variable, then you won't see any issue like that. It will be accommodated within the character. In this next line, x is assigned with f. So here also the similar situation. X may or may not be capable of holding the value of f depending upon the number that is currently stored inside f. So it may either lose the value because of truncation, or it may get the exact value. Say for example, if it is 5.5, then what will be inside x is 5. So the point decimal point will be truncated, and the remaining, the whole number will be assigned to x. In the next case, f is assigned with ch. So in some of you may be wondering how a character can be assigned to float, but that is also possible, because what you refer as a character is actually represented as an ASCII number inside the memory. So the memory does not store alphabets as ABC. Even special characters actually get stored as ASCII numbers. So every character has got an equivalent number, which is a decimal number. So for what is inside CH, it may be an alphabet, and that also has a equivalent ASCII number, and that is what is assigned to f. Let's say CH contains A. What is the ASCII of A is 97. So eventually f will be assigned with 97. In fact, it will be 97.0 because it's a floating point. So it will be assigned with 97.0. And here what happens is a similar thing. F equal to x. So the x will be converted into a decimal number, and that is assigned to f. So all this happens without our intervention. We don't need to say anything about these conversions, and in fact we can't manipulate these conversions. These are all going to happen as per the knowledge of the compiler. So that is what we refer as type conversion. And there is also something called multiple assignments that is acceptable in C++, which is you can assign the same value to multiple variables in a single line. Instead of writing it as x equal to 0, y equal to 0, z equal to 0 separately, you can write one assignment statement and assign 0 to all of them at a time. And the next one is arithmetic operators. All the arithmetic operators that are commonly available in the other languages, they are supported in C++ also, including the modulo division operator. And there are two additional special operators called increment and decrement operators. We will look at their functionality later. So increment decrement operators, what is unique about these two operators is that they are equivalent to this thing, x equal to x plus 1. So this is the actual expression. What happens here is that when you say x equal to x plus 1, you get the current value of x from memory, increment that with 1, and then put it back into the same memory location. That is what really happens behind x equal to x plus 1. Similarly, x equal to x minus 1 is equivalent to get the value of x, reduce it by 1, and copy the result into x itself. This can be simplified by the statement plus plus x and x minus minus, and these two are equivalent of these statements. This is called increment and decrement. But they have two variations. There are two variants of increment decrement available. Through this example, you can clearly understand what is the difference between post increment and pre increment. Just consider the first example, where int a equal to 5 and you print a plus plus. What will happen is that it will only print 5 instead of 6. Even though you have written a plus plus, it still won't print 6. But doesn't mean that the increment has not happened. No, that is also not true. The increment actually takes place, but that happens only after the value gets printed on the screen. That is the nature of post increment. So whenever you write post increment, it happens only in the next statement. So if you write another statement in the next line where you use the value of a, it will be using 6 only, not 5. But it won't happen immediately. So as a result, you will only see 5 as a result. Now, if you want to get 6 in this case, you can do this kind of modification. Int a equal to 5, then C++. After that, you print a value of a. Now it will print to 6. But if you don't want to write 3 lines for achieving this, then you can go for the pre-increment operator, where you just have to write plus plus a instead of a plus plus. So here what happens is that first the increment takes place and then the print takes place. So in the same line, the increment takes place. You don't need to wait for the next line, and as a result, the value will be printed as 6. You can equate the same meaning to decrement also. So decrement also, post decrement and pre decrement will have the similar behavior. And so when it comes to expressions, it's always about the precedence of operators. So which order, it's not about the order in which you have written an expression, it is actually the priority of the operators that will determine the order of evaluation. As a result, you may experience a difference between your manual calculations and the result as per your program. So you have to be very clearly aware of the priority of operators, and this is the order the compiler will follow for evaluating the arithmetic expressions. Next set of operators are called relational and logical operators. Their purpose is, let's take the relational operator first. Relational operators are used to relate to values. Like if you want to compare two values to check whether one is greater than or less than or equal to or not equal to the other, you can use any of the relational operators. They are very useful while writing conditional statements, if statements. And the logical operators are used to combine two relational expressions. So if you want to evaluate two relational expressions and make a decision based on the result of both the expressions, then you can use the logical operator to combine them. Before going into an example, you have to note down that in C++, a 0 value is automatically converted into false. So 0 is equivalent to false as per the C++ compiler, and any non-zero value is considered as true. So this you have to keep in mind. Now you evaluate this expression. So 10 greater than 5. Let's decide whether it is true or false. 10 greater than 5 is actually true. And 10 less than 9, is it true or false? It's going to be false, but we have a and not operator here. So the meaning of not operator here is that it will reverse the condition here. It will reverse the condition. So if it results in true, it will become false, whereas if it results in false, then it will become true. So it will give the opposite of the actual value. So 10 less than 9 is originally false, but because of the not operator, it becomes true. So this expression becomes true and true. And coming to the last relational expression, 3 less than or equal to 4, and that is also true. So finally it becomes true and true, or 2 or true. Okay. So the final outcome of this expression is also going to be true. That is what we can understand from this example. So we have written relational expressions and combined them with the logical operators. So this is called AND operator, this is not operator, and this one is OR operator. The difference between AND operator and OR operator is that AND operator requires that both the expressions need to evaluate to true, only then the final result will be treated as true. So only if these two are true and true, we are going to get a true. One of them is false, means the result will also be false. But in the case of OR operator, it just needs one of them to be true, and the result will be immediately true. And similarly, there is also precedence of relational logical operators, and NOT operator is having the highest precedence. Okay, now I am going to show you another example. Here int x equal to 100, and the printf statement is given as x greater than 10. It may look like it's a meaningless statement because it's not it is a relational expressions, it's not a variable. So you can print the value of x, and we also know that we can print x plus 10. So we can it will print 100 plus 10 as 110. But what happens when you write x greater than 10? So here, first of all, whether it is true or false, that is the first question. It is true because 100 greater than 10 is true. Then true will be printed as 1 in the case of the printf statement, whereas if it was false, then it would have been printed as 0. So even relational expressions will result in some value that can be printed. So it's not invalid. The next operator is a strange operator. It's called conditional operator, and it has a symbol of question mark. And this is a rare example of a ternary operator. Normally in our programs we use the binary operators and the unary operators. Binary operator means operators that take two operands, plus, minus, multiplication, division. They all require two operands. Unary operator is one operator that needs only one operand, like plus plus, minus minus. But ternary means more than two operators are needed. So take the example. Here x equal to 10, y equal to 15. Now you can write a conditional statement like y equal to x greater than y 100 colon 200. How this will be evaluated is that it will check whether x greater than 9. If it is true, then y will be assigned 100, else y will be assigned 200. Actually, this is a short form of this expression. This if condition can be simplified in one line by using the ternary operator or the conditional operator. So what will happen to this particular expression? Let's try to find out. Y equal to x greater than y. Okay, so see here we have got x. We don't have an expression here, we just have just x is mentioned. Now how this will be decided, whether it is true or false? As I already told you, compiler doesn't require always a relational expression in this case. It just needs true or false. So 0 is false and anything other than 0 is true. So what is the value of x? It is 10, which means this is treated as true only. So true. If true, what happens? This condition will be evaluated. Okay, because this is true, then it comes to this part and this condition is evaluated whether it is true or false. X greater than y. X is 10 and y equal to 15, and because it is false, 0 is assigned to y. This is a tricky example, so you must be able to understand this, that you just have to check whether this is true or false, and that depends based on the value of x. If it is 0, it is false, else it is true, and then since it is true, this is what the final result. But this is also an expression, so you have to evaluate this expression, find the result and assign it to y, and that happens based on x greater than y tested, and since it is false, it results in 0, and eventually the value of y becomes 0. The next operator is a useful operator called size of. So size of is used to know the memory size of some variable or data type. So it is useful in some particular situations. For example, when you use a malloc function, you will have to specify the compiler how much of memory you actually require for your variable, that is the pointer. So in that case, we can use the size of for that. And so size of is an operator which has a syntax like this. It can be used in two different ways. So in the first case, we are just using size of space name of the variable, and it prints 8 as a result because it's a floating point. Okay, it is a double data type. 8 bytes are assigned to this variable. Whereas in the second case, we want to find out the size of a data type itself. It is a useful way you can find out how much of memory is being assigned to various data types in your particular computer. So you just can use the size of and print size of int, size of float and size of double character. You can see how much memory is being assigned to the various data types. One point is that if you want to know the size of a variable, you can either mention it as size of space variable name or size of within bracket variable name. But when you want to know the size of a data type, this is the only option. You can't write it like in this syntax. You have to write it with the brackets. And there are a lot of other operators which we will discuss while encountering the operators in the actual usages. This is an asterisk operator. It's used for the purpose of multiplication. We have seen it under arithmetic. It is also useful as a pointer. Similarly, ampersand, comma operator, dot operator, arrow operator, square bracket, brackets, scope resolution operator. These are all various operators that will be used in our programs. And coming to type conversions, there is a priority based on which the type conversions happen. That's very simple. The highest priority goes to long double. So in an expression, if there is one variable of type long double, another is of some other data type, it's always the second one converted into long double. Next is next in the priority is double, normal double. So again the same logic. When whatever is combined with the double, it is converted into double only. So these are the various orders in which the type conversion takes place. And this is an example to understand that. So here we have got the mixture of the various data types, and you can see that when characters are integers are mixed, the result is going to be integer only, whereas when the float and double are mixed, it's going to result in a double conversion. And typecasting is forceful conversion, so we can influence that conversion, that is we can break the arithmetic conversion by explicitly conveying the way to be do the conversion. That is done with the help of this particular syntax. So in this case, let us assume x is a float, or x is an integer. So in that case, but I don't want x to be treated as integer, I want that to be treated as a float. So what we can do is that we can just precede float here. One purpose of this type of a type conversion is that if you just do the conversion as x divided by 2, where both are integers, you won't get the fractional part of the result. But if you want the result to be in decimal form, then you can force this by writing float here. Now compiler will not treat x as integer, instead it will treat it as float. But since x is becoming float, automatically 2 will be treated as float, because in an expression both will be uniformly converted to a same data type. So indirectly 2 is also converted into float and then used in the expression. Here we have a peculiar conversion. Here ch is a character, but we try to convert it into integer. Will it work? But right now you know the answer. It's not going to be a mistake. There is a way by which you can convert character into integer, that is with the help of the ASCII. So you know the ASCII that every character is assigned with some ASCII number, and that is what is actually going to be converted into integer. So 97 will be printed as output. And the next is compound assignments. The compound assignments are again some simple ones, like if you want to write x equal to x plus 10, the simple form of it is x plus equal to 10. See, if you want to write x equal to x plus 1, then instead of this you can go for x plus plus. But when the value is something else other than 1, then this is the shortest one, x plus equal to 10. In this way you can write all other arithmetic operators also. X plus equal to 10, x plus x minus, x multiplication, x division, x modulo, all will work. And to summarize, C++ supports various arithmetic, relational, logical, increment, decrement and assignment operators to write expressions. Expressions are evaluated based on the precedence of operators, as well as the type conversions are done with respect to the priority of the data types, and we can also enforce our own typecasting if needed. Thank you.